Hi, I'm Captain Crunch, and it's crunch time! Another one bites the dust. That's crazy. Well, look at that. Broken, smashed, and finished.
So, Captain, you remember 21 years ago when we first thought about the concept of Techno Challenge and breaking bridges? I think we thought of it as a way for our students to show their skills.
Well, not only show the skills, but have a good time.
Exactly. And
using their skills.
They'll learn something along the way, but it's so difficult for students in technology to show the amazing things that they can do. And we thought that we would come up with a popsicle stick bridge competition, and 21 years ago, it wasn't a new idea, but I'd like to think that we took it to new heights.
Maybe we should talk about the two different styles of bridges here with regards to the construction.
Okay. Why don't you start with your side there? What have you got?
Well, I've got what we call a true truss, and a true truss design has this shape here, and it relies solely on the two end pieces here where it's perched on the testing jig. And initially that's all we allowed were true truss bridges in the early days, and then we came up with we had to build a stronger jig. Do you remember that?
The students did. The students came up with the concept now of physically using the side supports of the test jig as well. And I think it came from the design where we look at here. This is basically a simulation of an arch, except the arch part is taken out. And traditionally, arches don't work well in our competition because they're too flat.
They look great, but they don't.
They look great, but they don't behave well because of the rule restrictions for dimensions. But here now, when we turn that arch into a diagonal and a diagonal, this is an extremely, extremely strong bridge with excellent performance ratings. We heard that Shane carried 2,344 pounds.
This year, yes.
That's the weight of a small car, and then some.
The W-shaped bridge seems to be the most successful design that I've seen looking back at all the previous winners, and I'd say, I don't really have the numbers, but looking at it, I'd say probably about 80% of the bridges are the W shape, and they seem to perform really well. It pushes against the sides of the testing jig, so a lot of force gets directed out of the bridge that way, and it just basically uses the testing jig as a support. If you were to try and make one of these bridges in high school, it'd probably really help you start to understand how things go together and how the different forces work acting on the bridge, and it would teach you quite a bit. And I think it would help you in your college.
The rules to the contest themselves are very simple. Basically, there's only three. First of all, and the most important one is that you can only use our sticks and our glue. Everybody has to build from the same material. So you can't even use last year's sticks we gave you because they might be different this year. So you have to use only the sticks that we gave you this year and only the glue that we give you this year.
That's absolutely imperative, because then everybody's on the same playing field. Everybody's using the same stuff. Nobody has a leading edge or whatever over somebody else.
You're just not comparing apples and apples if everybody builds with their own materials.
Correct.
The second rule is dimensional, that the bridge has got to fit into the test jig. It can only be so wide and so deep and so high. And then the third rule says that the bridge cannot weigh any more than 250 grams. And we give students more than enough sticks because they're always cutting and wasting and bending and sniffing and tasting and all
selling
that.
Them probably.
Selling them because they're you've signed a couple of them, which is usually a mistake. Because
saw one on eBay.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. So. And so those are basically the same three rules that have been in effect now for 21 years. We really haven't changed much over the 21 years. The only other thing is we require the student to be the primary builder, and that they can get all kinds of advice from engineers and architects or from the internet or wherever they want to go with that. They can use that advice, but they have to be the primary builder.
Which again is only fair, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And as a result, we've had some pretty amazing structures come out over the years. One of the things that I guess is the easiest way to do is just to go to the Mohawk College website and add /events/popstick, Popstick to the end of it.
And the information is
and
there.
The information is right there. History, all 20 years of bridges winning bridges that you've broken, high school events, and so on and so on.
Well, crunch, break and fly, gonna make you cry. Crunch, break and fly, gonna make you cry. Gonna crush those bridges, keep you wondering why.
I think we should go home.
Now when I get the blues, I get me a rocking chair. Yeah, when I get the blues, I get me a rocking chair. If the blues overtake me, I'll rock right out of here. Now when I get lonely, I get on the telephone. Yeah, when I get lonely, I get on the telephone. I call my baby, tell her I'm on my way back home. Well, crunch, break and fly, gonna make you cry. Crunch, break and fly, gonna make you cry. Gonna crush those bridges, keep you wondering why.